Thank you. Can everybody hear me all right? Great. I'm going to drop my mask so you can see my face. Well, good morning. I am really excited to be here this morning with all of you and that you welcome me into your space to share with you the power of why. I would first like to thank Ron and all those who organized to have me here with you this morning. And Ron, thank you for your kind words. Now I have some boots to fill. I am Isaiah Thomas, as mentioned, and a little bit about me. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised by a single mother who did a phenomenal job raising 4 kids. I have an older brother and 2 younger sisters, and I am the second. In my family, I was the first to go to college, though being the second oldest. My mama, she is my mama. She instilled in me the power of education and pursuing any and everything that makes me happy, but as that last sentence read, that served others. And so that led me to pursuing higher education and being here in La Crosse. As I was sharing earlier, La Crosse wasn't, the first thing that was on my list, the first place or school that was on my list, but I think that I'm here for a reason, and I'm excited that this has been my home for now 10 years. Being from Milwaukee, it's a space that is very diverse, though segregated if you know anything about that area. You learn a lot about the people around you from different festivals and things that you're able to participate in. But one place that taught me a lot about what the world could look like and the beauty and diversity and different experiences was Brown Deer, and Brown Deer High School in particular, or the district. Jacob, I see you. By the way, hello to everybody on Zoom. I know you can see me, I can't see you. And so being from Brown Deer, going to the school, I got to know a lot of people that either came from overseas and were doing international studies here in the States at Brown Deer, or it was just our neighbors that we went to school with or we lived amongst. And you get to learn quite a bit about how people develop cultures or express their cultures or express who they are, which was awesome. But then I came to La Crosse and it was interesting and kind of this culture shock for me because the way I viewed the world was not quite what every other place looked like. In saying all that, I think back to coming from Milwaukee, coming from that area, and then coming here and kind of where my mindset was. I talked a little bit about one of the reasons that I ended up here was for schooling. That's a what. Another thing that I did was got involved with a job. Another what or thing that I did, which is great. That's awesome. And before I continue, I want to give credit to Simon Sinek, who did a TED Talk on Start With Why. Is anybody in the room familiar with Start With Why? Simon Sinek. Awesome, a couple people, and maybe some folks on Zoom. I saw that presentation a couple years into my college career. It was one of those things that was kind of this light bulb moment for me in taking a deeper look at what I was doing and why. I did a couple presentations and trainings through my work at UWL when I was working in recreational sports or through our diversity and inclusion department. And I gave talks about how do you discover what is most important to you, but who are you and what do you bring? Again, more so focusing on the what. So the what, and again, I have this job, I have this opportunity to make money, I have this opportunity to be around some cool people, but why was it important to me? Why was I in that space? And so when Simon Sinek spoke on this TED Talk, he talked about kind of these 3 different spheres. At the very outskirt was the what, and then there was the how, and then there was the why. And he talked a little bit about how a lot of people, they commonly start with the what, and then they eventually get to the why. And he said, you should flip that on your head. Flip that on its head. And so I did. Everything that I do now has to start with why, because my why, your why, all of it has power. And so stepping into a space where I started to think about what is my why, whether it was at workplace, whether it was in my personal life, whether it was my life at large, what is the why? And I encourage you to think about what your why is. You being here is your what, but why are you here? Why do you have the job that you have? Why do you engage in the types of relationships that you have, whether that be a friend or a romantic partner? Think about your why as I continue to talk. So, in thinking about my why, I kind of highlighted it a little bit in that bio about me and serving others, but it took a while to get there. The what was always the school, the what was everything that I wanted to do. I originally wanted to be a doctor because I could help people. How awesome is that? Got to school and then I realized this coursework, not so great. But after hearing that TED Talk, the what was there, but then the why made me question, is the reason why I'm going into medicine because I want to help people, or is there a greater mission at play? What is my personal mission? Personal mission is serving others. I have it on my arm so others may live. Originally, it meant medicine and taking care of other people, but now it's so much bigger than that. One dawning kind of moment that is constantly with me and kind of epitomized for me very clearly my why in serving other people and showing up in whatever capacity that looks like was one of our terrible winter storms. I was coming out of my apartment downtown La Crosse, and I live right next to Phases, and so we get a lot of traffic there. There was a older woman who was trying to cross the snowbank. I watched maybe 10 or 15 people walk past her as I was checking something on my phone, trying to be kind of nonchalant about me observing what was going on around me. I went over to this lady and I said, "Hey, could I help you get over the snowbank?" I offered her my arm and I got her over the snowbank, and she was almost in tears. And she said, "No one stops. No one stops anymore." When people talk about stopping and smelling the roses, I try to live my life in a way that I stop and I pay attention to what I'm doing, being extremely present in this moment. Because what's important is you. Why you're important is because you're a bunch of individuals who bring this perspective that I have something to learn from you and you have something to learn from me, as long as we stop and pay attention. That is the why in this moment. When I think about my personal life and my why and where I show up, I am a son, I am a brother, I'm a nephew, I'm a grandson, I'm a partner to Jocelyn Diaz, who is on this Zoom. And I have many, many other titles. But when I think about why those things are important, why they're important to my personal mission and theirs, it's because we need each other. Just like I said, I needed you. You need me, because we don't know everything. And we bounce off of each other, and we continue to send positivity into the universe. And we hopefully one day will make our societies, our communities, a better place. When I think about my professional life and where my why shows up, I talked a little bit about the job. I am currently a development director for Crosse County with Salvation Army. Wonderful organization that does some pretty incredible work in over 130 countries. Tremendous need in this world, and they're showing up to kind of fill the gaps and address some of those. The role that I play is in financing what we do, fundraising and community relations, getting out and talking to people to spread what we do. But that's just the what. That's my job. That's kind of what I do. But why is it important to me? Why is that a part of my mission? How is that falling within the realm of service, that personal mission that I have? And the way that it shows up is because I see the bigger picture. I see the opportunity to not only sit in my office and send a bunch of emails, that's connecting, but the opportunity to build a relationship by going down to the dining hall and sitting with someone and learning their story. That fuels me. That allows me to then go out and do the what, But the why is so much more important because I got to know somebody else's story. They got to know my story. They got to know that life wasn't always easy for me either. And it wasn't easy for this person that I was talking to when they were dealt many challenges with life. When I was a executive director of a youth serving nonprofit, in some of the conversations that I had with those students, I continued to tell them, whatever you do, like Simon Sinek said, start with your why. They could be struggling with challenges with school, friendships, and other relationships. They could be challenging with finding their social spaces. And the biggest thing that I told them is, in so many ways, you can goal set week by week. But what I want you to call it is, what's your why for the moment? Whether that be the next hour, the next day, the next week, or next month, start with a why. Every day that I wake up and I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking myself in the mirror. What is my why for today? Why did I get up and begin to pursue the things that I'm going to take on in that day? Today it was an opportunity to spread not only my why, but encourage you to do the same thing. My why this morning was to be able to build relationships. Some of you I may never see again. Hopefully that's not the case. But the opportunity to build a relationship and to see what this could grow into. How many people will you impact after hearing me speak? How many people will go and watch Simon Sinek's video and then begin to share that with friends? How many more people will start to think about the why and the impact that they have when they start centering that message in your workplaces, in the schools, in the community at large? Our world, you can say, is in chaos right now. From the pandemic to our current war. People have struggled to maintain different types of relationships in their lives because of everything we've been dealt. But the most important thing that you have to continue to center is, what is your purpose? What is your cause? What do you believe in? And help that propel you forward into whatever's next. When I continue to think about everything that's going on in this world and the opportunity that we all have, I always think back to things like TV talk show host like Ellen DeGeneres and her expression to be kind to one another. I encourage you to be kind to yourself as you explore whatever life looks like for you. Whether you redefine that today or tomorrow or in a couple years from now. Take your why, your many whys, that collection of whys, and let that lead you. Especially for our young people in the room, including myself. Believe it or not, I'm only 27. Or I will be 27 in May. But there is so much opportunity to connect with the person next to you, your neighbors, and so many others.